Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast special edition show where I do my NBA draft recap and free agency predictions in the rest of the offseason as well. We're going to put it all in the one because we haven't had the time to do it separately. So we are going to start with the NBA draft. And I'm going to give out the grades for the first round picks. So, number 1 overall, the Atlanta Hawks. They take Zekashir Ricochet out of France. I give the pick an A-. I don't love the pick. I think they could have gone with other players, but they picked from a position of need. So that's what bumps the grade up just a little bit. Not a big Ricochet fan, but I just like the fit of him on the Hawks with Trae Young. 2, the Washington Wizards, like Alex Sarr, the center out of France. I'm going to give this an A because of team need and quite frankly, he has the upside to be something. He's obviously not going to be Victor Wembanyama. No one's going to be Victor Wembanyama. But at least Sarr has some promise. Number 3, the Houston Rockets from the Brooklyn Nets. Reed Sheppard, the guard out of Kentucky. I give that an A. I like Reed Sheppard a lot. Him on this Rockets team is a good fit. Just another young asset to add to the collection. 4, the San Antonio Spurs. Stephon Castle, the guard out of UConn. A+. I absolutely love this pick for the Spurs. I think this is the best guy in the draft. Perfect guy to pair with Victor Wembanyama. Good defender. He'll develop offensively. 5, the Detroit Pistons. Ron Holland, the wing at a G League Ignite. I give this a B. I'm not a big fan of Holland. I think that there were better fits, like Cody Williams and Matas Buzelis, among others. 6, the Charlotte Hornets. Dejanay Salon, forward out of France. C. They passed on Klingon. They passed on some other guys I think could have helped, like Cody Williams. And I don't like the fit of Salon with Brandon Miller. 7, the Portland Trailblazers. Donovan Clingan, the center out of UConn. I give this an A+. DeAndre Ayton, to me, is a flawed player and is someone that they should trade. And Portland should go all young and build around Scoot Henderson. I like Clingan a lot. I know they have a surplus of bigs, and everyone's like, that pick doesn't make sense. But Klingan's a better long-term piece of that position than what they currently have. That's the point. 8, the Minnesota Timberwolves from the San Antonio Spurs. Rob Dillingham, guard out of Kentucky. B+ only because of the uncertainty of those picks they give up. I get it. We think Anthony Edwards is still going to be on the team then. You never know with today's NBA and guys demanding trades all the time. I like Dillingham, the player. He'll help Minnesota be a heat-check guy off the bench. But just because of the uncertainty of those picks they gave up, that's why the grade's not an A. 9, the Memphis Grizzlies. Zach Edey, the center out of Purdue. Controversial grade, but I'm giving it an A+. I love Zach Edey. I like him more than most. There's a reason he was a 2-time National Player of the Year. I think he's going to be a better version of Jonas Valanciunas. And I like that they have 2 bigs in Edey and Triple J. And Triple J to me is a power forward, not a center. And I love it for Memphis. I mean, a lot of people hate it, and I've heard some lady say it was the worst pick ever. Like, give me a freaking break. I guess you didn't watch college basketball. 10, the Utah Jazz. Cody Williams, wing, Colorado. I'll give this an A. Solid prospect. Good score. Think you should have gone higher than this. Like the fit with the guys they have. Um, 11, the Chicago Bulls. Matas Buzelli swing. G League Ignite. This also gets an A. Buzelli should have gone higher than this, in that 5 to 8 range. But Chicago gets him. Just a piece to build around. Number 12, the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Houston Rockets. Nikola Topic, the forward out of Serbia. I give this a B. I think there are other options for the Thunder. They could have traded back. I mean, this is based on the risk and the fact that he won't play next year. They just went and got Caruso, which is great. I would have given up this pick for Caruso. Not that I would have given up Josh Giddey, because I think Josh Giddey was Ben Simmons last year in the playoffs from a he can't play standpoint. So I understand why they gave him up, but I would have given up more than Josh Giddey for Alex Caruso. That's why I think that trade is such a home run for the Thunder. But Topic isn't playing right away. Like, I think there are teams that would have been better fits for Topic than Oklahoma City. And to me, OKC, I think, needed a guy that could play right away. 13, the Sacramento Kings. Devin Carter, the guard out of Providence. A- is the grade. So, if I'm not mistaken, Davion Mitchell got traded. So this pick makes a lot of sense. Yeah, he did get traded. But Devin Carter's a really good player. I mean, he was a player of the year in Providence. Who knows what to do. Good defender. 14, the Washington Wizards. This is a laundry list of teams had this pick. Portland. Or not originally. Originally it was Golden State. Then Memphis. Then Boston. Then Boston gave it to Portland in the Brogdon Holiday deal. So, Washington, Bub Carrington, the guard out of Pittsburgh. I have this a B. More people like Bub than I do. Bub, to me, wasn't a lottery guy. I think Washington should have went with Dalton Connect or Jared McCain. I don't know why those guys dropped like they did. And that's why it gets a B, because of the better assets that were on the board. 15, the Miami Heat. Khalil Ware, the center out of Indiana. I don't like this pick. I'm giving it a C. They didn't need a center. They just extended Bam. I feel like they wasted a pick on a backup center, meanwhile that you could have used Dalton Connect and Jared McCain to help you right away. And give you more minutes. 16, the Philadelphia 76ers. Jared McCain, the guard out of Duke. I'm giving this an A+. Perfect fit. They needed somebody like him or Connect. Whether it was him or Connect, they were getting an A+. I think Connect's the better prospect, but McCain's fit on this Philly team, I couldn't give it a lower grade than an A+. 17, the Los Angeles Lakers. Dalton Connect, the wing out of Tennessee. Steal the draft, A+. Love it. Love it. He's going to lead their second unit. They needed somebody like that to come off the bench. We'll see how their roster shakes out within the next several hours. But I absolutely love this pick for the Lakers. 18, the Orlando Magic. Tristan Da Silva, the forward out of Colorado. B- is the grade. I don't get it. They have Paulo Banchero playing the same position. And then at center, they have Wendell Carter Jr. And there's rumors about Isaiah Hartenstein for them. I don't get that. Like, unless they had planned to trade one of those, or unless they plan to trade Carter because they're not trading Banchero. They're stupid if they trade Banchero. I don't like this pick for Orlando. There are better players on the board. 19, the Toronto Raptors from the Indiana Pacers. Jacoby Walker, the wing out of Baylor. Grade A+. I thought the Raptors had to nail this pick considering that San Antonio had their original first-round pick. So, they They did. They got somebody I thought was capable of going in the lottery. And I think he could help them. So, A+. Good job, Raptors. 20 to Cleveland Cavaliers. Jalen Tyson, the wing out of Cal. Great. C. I don't love this pick. Tyson should have gone in the late 20s. Better players on the board for the Cavaliers, in my opinion, such as Keyshawn George. 21, the New Orleans Pelicans. Yves Missi, the center out of Baylor. I give this an A. New Orleans needs some young bigs. I think Valanciunas is either a free agent to be or he's a free agent next year. I don't remember. But the free agent group is kind of weak this year outside of a couple. But I like the pick for New Orleans nonetheless. 22, the Denver Nuggets from the Phoenix Suns. DeRon Holmes, center, Dayton. Grade C+. I think they could have gotten DeRon Holmes at 28. There are better options on the board for Denver. And plus, I don't get the... This is kind of like Miami taking... Where? Why? You have Jokic. He isn't going to play a lot. This was the draft for need, not best player available. 23, the Milwaukee Bucks. A.J. Johnson, guard. I'm giving this an F. A.J. Johnson, by some draft experts, would not even pick to go at either round. That's an automatic F in the first round, if that's the case. 24, the Washington Wizards from the New York Knicks via the Dallas Mavericks. Keyshawn George, wing, Miami. Give this an A+. Really good pick for Washington. They needed somebody like that. Good value, trading up a couple spots to get George. 25, the New York Knicks. Bakame died at wing, France. I'm giving this a B. I thought there were better fits for the Knicks on the board, such as Virginia's Ryan Dunn, Baylor's Shireman, Isaiah Collier even. I'm not a big fan of Terrence Shannon because of the off-court stuff, but even he would have been a better pick or better fit for the Knicks. But this is yet a project pick and maybe a trade asset, but more people like Dadiet than me, but that's why it's a B. 26, the Oklahoma City Thunder from the Knicks via Clippers and Wizards, so the Knicks trade back. Dylan Jones, forward, Weber State, F. Again, Dylan Jones was somebody that people didn't even have picked in the first 2 rounds. And there are better players for OKC to take there. 27, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Terrence Shannon Jr., wing, Illinois. I'm giving this an A. Good pick for Minnesota. I think he can help their second unit. 28, the Phoenix Suns from the Denver Nuggets. Ryan Dunn, forward, Virginia. A+. If they stood at 22 and took Ryan Dunn, they would have probably got like an A- or a B+, which isn't bad. But it's certainly better than Denver trading up for DeRon Holmes at a position that they don't need. But I love the pick for the Suns, and getting assets for 22 as well is a bonus. So they got a steal there. 29, the Utah Jazz. Isaiah Collier, guard, USC. I'm giving this an A. Collier should have gone sooner than this. He's very talented. Pedigree guy. And then 30, the Boston Celtics. Baylor Shireman, wing. Got a Creighton. This pick also gets an A. Just somebody that can come in and play defense, hit threes off the bench. Good pick for the reigning champion Boston Celtics. So, there you have it for the first round grades. All right, the rest of the draft notable picks. I like the Jazz taking Kyle Filipowski at 32. The Bucks taking Tyler Smith. That's someone that could have gone late first. The Knicks trading up and getting Tyler Kolek. Really good pick. That's someone that I thought the Suns were going to pick. The Spurs taking Johnny Furphy, who or I'm sorry, not the Spurs, Indiana. He was traded to Indiana. The Spurs drafted him but traded to the Pacers. That was a good one. Another one I liked was the Hornets taking KJ Simpson in the second round. I think that's a good fit. I think the Clippers got to steal a Cam Christie. Antonio Reeves out of Kentucky, drafted by the Magic but traded to the Pelicans. I like the Spurs taking Harrison Ingram. The Pacers taking Tristan Newton was a good pick. The Pistons taking Cam Spencer, but he was traded to the Grizzlies. I like that. The Lakers taking Bronny James felt like a fait accompli. The case for Bronny is that the cardiac arrest set him back, and that's why he had a bad year last year. And do I buy that? Yes. Cardiac arrests obviously are very serious, and that's not easy to come back from. So I understand why a lot of people were down on him. So that's the case for Bronny working out. Like, if Bronny didn't, I'm going to be honest, if Bronny didn't have the cardiac arrest, probably would have been a lottery pick. So that's the case for Bronny James. The Suns took Kevin McCullough Jr., traded to the Knicks. I like that for the Knicks. And those are the second round picks I like. And now we're going to do free agency predictions. So the following players went back to their teams. OG Anunoby to the Knicks. Pascal Siakam to the Raptors. Emmanuel Quickley to the Raptors. Or Pascal Siakam to the Pacers. Nick Claxton to Brooklyn. So the terms. OG was 5 for 212.5. Pascal was 4 for over 189. Quickley was 5 for 175. Nick Claxton was 4 for 100. Patrick Williams was 5 for 90 back to the Bulls. Malik Monk back to Sacramento, 4 for over 77.5. Royce O'Neal, 4 for 44. Don't like that one. DeAndre Jordan, 1 for over $3 million. And Bull back to Phoenix, 1 for over $2 million. Almost $3 million. All right, I'm going to go in order on the list. LeBron James, I think he goes back to the Lakers. I think there's no way he leaves. His son was just drafted there. I think he takes a little less than the max to help the Lakers get some guys. Paul George, this is a bold pick. If they can work this out. Sign and trade to the Golden State Warriors. I love this. Steph Curry, one last kick at the can. There's Philly rumors, but they might be out on him. I mean, I think he leaves the Clippers. I mean, he might go back there. That'd be a little boring. But I think we're going to see some fireworks, and Golden State, I think, is desperate. So I think they want to sign Paul George. And maybe they'll make some other moves to clear cap room to make it work. Klay Thompson, I think he signs with the Lakers. This feels obvious. I think he wants to play where his dad broadcasts. I think it's only appropriate. I think he'd be a good fit with LeBron. It's just typical Lakers, signing guys that look washed up and have connections to the franchise. So I feel like Klay Thompson to the Lakers is going to happen. I think it's going to be like 3 for 90 or something like that. And Paul George, Golden State's going to be, I'm going to say 4. I'm going to say 4 for maybe 190. And then LeBron, I think, is going to be 2 for 100 with an option with the Lakers. Tobias Harris. I think he signs with Chicago. That just, I know, it's a weird fit with Patrick Williams. I might change that pick because Patrick Williams just re-signed. And he plays the same position. So I originally had the Bulls. But I'm going to pick somebody else for Chicago instead. I'm going to say Tobias Harris goes to the Pistons. Back to one of his old teams. And I'm going to say that is I think they're going to overpay. I'm going to say it's like 4 for $140 or something like that. James Harden, I think, goes back to the Clippers. I'm going to say like a monster, like 3 for $150 or something like that. Gordon Hayward, I think, goes to the Bulls. Because I think the Bulls need like some veterans in there. I know they're going to be rebuilding, but they're still the Bulls. I'm going to say Gordon Hayward gets like a 3 for $75 with the Bulls or something like that. Kyle Lowry back to Philadelphia, I'm going to say on a 1-year deal. 1 for $20 or something like that. DeMar DeRozan, I think, leaves the Bulls, and I'm going to say he signs with the Clippers to replace Paul George. And I'm going to say that is a 4. I'm going to say like 4 for. I'm going to say like 4 for $140 also. Buddy Hield, that's a good one. I don't think he goes back to Philadelphia. That was just a failed experiment there. I know he tried to swing a couple playoff games against the Knicks, but didn't work out. So, Buddy Hield, I think he goes to a bad team. I just can't pick the bad team. The Wizards be a weird fit because Jordan Poole's there. I could see it being Charlotte with LaMelo and Brandon Miller, but I also could see it being Orlando. So I'm going to say Orlando. This is going to be like the stupid overpay for Orlando. 4 for $110. Evan Fournier. I think he can help somebody. I picked Buddy Hield to Orlando, but Orlando's not a bad team, but they tend to overpay for free agents. That's a hard one. I'm going to say Miami. Like a 1-year deal. People are going to take a chance, like 1 year, $14 million or something. Gary Trent Jr. That's a good one. And I think whoever signs him, that'd be a win. I think he could help a lot of teams. I think that'd be a good Golden State option if they missed out on Paul George. But I think this is who goes to Philadelphia. I think this would be a great fit to go with Embiid and Maxey. I'm going to say he gets a 4 for $120. Markelle Fultz. Not my favorite player. So I'm going to say he goes back to the Orlando Magic. Maybe 2 for $38. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I think signs with the Dallas Mavericks. I'm going to say they overpay him. I'm going to say 4 for $100 for KCP to Dallas. Jonas Valanciunas is a free agent. That could be a Knicks option if they lose Hartenstein. They trade Mitchell Robinson. So Valanciunas is an interesting one. There's a lot of teams that need bigs. But I also could see him re-signing with the Pelicans. But maybe the Pelicans want Zion to be their center. So, yeah, Valanciunas is a tough one for me to pick. But I'm going to say back to New Orleans, 3 for 60. Malik Beasley, I think, goes back to one of his old teams, the Denver Nuggets. I'm going to say 4 for 70. Tyus Jones is an interesting one. He was good on the Wizards, but I think they're going to let him walk to another team. But I don't know what's a good spot for him. I think he's going to be a backup somewhere. And I'm going to say, in Brooklyn's a team littered with holes. So I could see him going to Brooklyn like 1 for 15 and they flip him at the deadline. Luke Kennard, I almost picked to go to Denver. But I'm going to say Beasley goes there. Kennard. I think he's on a different team. I have KCP to Dallas. I have DeRozan to the Clips. Harden back to the Clips. So Kennard's an interesting call. He can start or come off the bench. You know what? I think he'll go back to Memphis. I'm going to say 4 for 60. Doug McDermott. That's a good one. I feel like I could see him going to Philly or Golden State. I'm going to say Philly for their bench. I think Philly's going to try improve their bench. I'm going to say 2 for 30, Philly, Doug McDermott. Gary Harris. I can see him going to San Antonio because I think they're going to try to improve around Victor. So I'm going to say that's a 3 for 45, San Antonio. Robert Covington. I'm going to say he goes back to Philadelphia. I'm going to say 1 for 13. They have a lot of cap space. That's why I have a lot of Philly predictions. And anybody else play like on the board? Isaiah Hartenstein's way too low on this free agent ranking list. Oh, they're doing it off a salary. That makes more sense now. I'm going to say Joe Ingles to the Milwaukee Bucks. And say 1 for 13. Isaiah Hartenstein. I'm going to say back to the Knicks. 4 years. I'm going to say 4 for 100 mil. Miles Bridges, I'm going to say Brooklyn. I'm going to say they pay him 4 for 100. Or 4 for 90. So that feels like a Brooklyn guy. And isn't Tyrese Maxey restricted? Maybe that's next year. All right, guys that I think are going to potentially be traded. I'm going to say Clint Capella on the Hawks. Gets dealt. I don't know like exactly where. I'm going to say the Celtics trade for Jalen Duren on the Pistons. or somebody like that. Or Nick Richards. Nick Richards from Charlotte's a good one. I'm going to say that Trae Young stays put in Atlanta. I think, like I said, Klay Thompson to the Lakers, Paul George to Golden State. A lot of this is free agency. I think the Knicks re-signed Isaiah Hartenstein. They trade Mitchell Robinson, and I'm going to say he's traded to, I want to say the Washington Wizards, but will they play him and Alex Sarr together? I could see him getting moved to the Wizards. I could see Mitchell being moved to a couple of different places. If Golden State misses out on Paul George, I could see that being an option. Even if they do sign Paul George and they trade Wiggins and they do some salary dump stuff, I'll say this. I'm going to say they salary dump Wiggins into Brooklyn's cap space. And Brooklyn will have Miles Bridges and Andrew Wiggins starting at the forward spots. And then I'm going to say that Looney gets traded somewhere. I could see Mitchell Robinson on Golden State. That's an upgrade over Looney, arguably, but they're both kind of flawed players. But I'm going to say Wiggins gets moved into Brooklyn's cap. I'm trying to figure out a home for Mitchell Robinson, because I think he gets moved. So the Knicks can re-sign Hartenstein. So the Pistons trying to find their roster. Here it is. So they have Jalen Duren and James Wiseman. And Wiseman's a free agent. Yeah, I can't see him going there either. I mean, could the Raptors be an option for Mitchell Robinson, ironically enough? I mean, they could use a center. And then they can get one of the picks back in that trade. Jakob Poeltl. And isn't he a free agent? No. All right, so they have Jakob Poeltl. I forgot about that. I thought he was a free agent for some reason. So the one that would make sense would be Golden State, and then they just have him and Looney. But yeah, I'm going to say Mitchell Robinson's traded so they could re-sign Hartenstein. And then Jericho Sims could be their backup. But I don't understand the Orlando fit. Oh, I know where Mitchell Robinson can be traded. Oklahoma City. That's the team. They need a big. That makes the most sense. Oklahoma City. And I'm going to say that they get a first-round pick in return, like a future first, and maybe one more contract or something. So I'm going to say first for Mitchell Robinson. And I could see somebody else going in the deal, like Isaiah Joe or somebody like that, like a bench guy. Or maybe even Bismack Biyombo as like a backup. And then, yeah, he could be a good backup. I'm going to say Bismack in the first for Mitchell Robinson. That's a good one. So, I'm trying to think of who else I could see being traded. So, no one on Boston yet. Milwaukee, Brook Lopez, I think, could be available. That would be a good Thunder pickup. But I don't think they want to blow up that team yet. I could see any of the Cavalier guys being available, but my prediction for Cleveland is I think they extend Donovan Mitchell. I think that the Mavericks signed KCP. So I'm going to go around the lead. So the Hawks have trading Capella. I just can't pinpoint the team. I just don't think the Thunder are that team. I think the Celtics acquire Nick Richards because they need a backup big with Porzingis out. Brooklyn, I'm going to say their big move is that they acquire Andrew Wiggins. And they're going to have him and Ben Simmons on the same team. It'd be so funny. Charlotte. I'm going to say Charlotte. I think I had them signing somebody. Yeah, I think they signed someone. I'm going to say they signed Alec Burks. I could see that. There's like a bench guy. Say like 2 for $30 or something like that. Chicago, I'm going to have them signing Gordon Hayward. Cleveland extends Donovan Mitchell. Dallas signs KCP. Denver brings back Malik Beasley. Detroit, I'm going to say signs Tobias Harris. Golden State signs Paul George. I think Houston's going to be in the mix to trade for one of these big name guys that could be available, like a Durant or a Booker. I think they're a dark horse for Paul George. And there's trade rumors for Sengun, which I think is ridiculous. Although they did play better without Sengun for some reason. That could be a good Thunder player. But the funny thing about that is that the Thunder traded the Sengun pick. That'd be kind of ironic. And it'd be an interesting Knicks player because of potentially Isaiah Hartenstein leaves. Maybe they trade Robinson. They acquire Sengun. Like, I could see that. But yeah, I'm going to say the Rockets. I'm going to say here's a good one. I think they signed Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson. That's a fun one. I'm going to say maybe like 3 for 35, 3 for 45 Slow-Mo, Kyle Anderson to Houston. Indiana. I think they are a potential trade partner for someone. I think they keep that group together because they were in the conference finals. I'm going to say that I could see Nick Batum going to Indy. Like on a 1 for 15 or something like that. I'm going to say Nick Batum goes there. The Clippers I have signing DeRozan. The Lakers I have signing Clay. Memphis I have them bringing back Kennard. Miami. I picked them to sign somebody. Who was it? Fournier? He check off the bench. Yeah, I have them signing Fournier. Minnesota, that's a good one. I haven't picked anything for Minnesota yet. I could see them you know who I like for them for a fit off the bench? Obi Toppin, but I think what we've realized that Obi Toppin wasn't as good as he was thought out to be when he was in the lottery. Do you know what would be a lot of fun if they brought back Kevin Love? This is going to be the reunion of the offseason. I'm going to say Kevin Love, Minnesota. I'm going to say 1 year, $5 million. And that's going to be a cute little reunion, and Kevin Love's going to come off the bench on the Timberwolves. Milwaukee, I have them signing Joe Ingles. New Orleans, I have them bringing back Valanciunas, but I don't feel good about it. Knicks, I have them bringing back Hartenstein. OKC, I have them acquiring Mitchell Robinson from the Knicks for Bismack Biyombo and a first, and Bismack Biyombo's going to be their backup center. I have the Magic signing Buddy Hield, overpaying Buddy Hield. I have Phoenix. Ooh, that's a tough one because they're kind of stuck in purgatory with all those contracts, especially Beals. I saw them bring back Royce O'Neal. I don't like that move. Do you know who I could see going there and I think would be a really good fit? Caleb Martin. I could see him going to Phoenix. I'm going to say that's a 2 for 30 kind of thing. So he could be maybe 2 for 28, shooter off the bench kind of guy. I could see Caleb Martin going to Phoenix. I know that'd be a weird fit because O'Neal's a power forward. No. So that's the same position. But O'Neal's more of a power forward and Caleb Martin's more of a 3. But I can see Caleb Martin going to the Suns. They can make that work. Or they could start Caleb Martin next to Durant, and then O'Neal can come off the bench. You could do that as well. So I like that Caleb Martin Suns fit. Philly, I think they extend Maxey, and I think they miss out on Paul George, and their big signing is going to be Gary Trent Jr. Portland, I'm going to say they trade Ayton. I don't know where. I could see him getting dumped on a bad team. I could see him being getting dumped on the Wizards. Like how I could see Mitchell Robinson. Well, Mitchell Robinson I think goes to the Thunder, but I think Ayton would be an interesting OKC guy, but I think because of the money, I think they'd rather have Robinson because Ayton makes more. So I'm going to say they move Ayton. They can't pick the team. I mean, could it be Indiana? And then they could just move Miles Turner to power forward? I know that'd be a weird fit. I mean, Orlando's rumored to get a big. Could it be them? But that wouldn't make sense because then they'd have to move off Wendell Carter Jr. But I'm going to say that he gets dealt somewhere. I just don't know where. Although I have Capella getting moved too. I'm just going to have to figure out some teams and we can get creative. Next is the Spurs. I forgot who I said I had them signing. I think I said Gary Harris to San Antonio. Yes. I had Gary Harris to San Antonio. Like 2 for 30 or something like that. Sacramento. They kind of have their team set. They traded Davion Mitchell like we thought they were. I could see that being a Markelle Fultz destination. I could see DeAnthony Melton going there being a bench guy. I'm going to say 2 for 20 Sacramento DeAnthony Melton. Toronto, they're already making moves. I could see them bringing on like a bench guy or like more depth. I could see that being Mason Plumlee's team. Like, you have backup center, the Jakob Poeltl. I could see that being like a 1 year, $8 million, they could trade him kind of thing. Utah, that team is pretty interesting. There's a lot of smoke around Markkanen. And honestly, it's way too much smoke. I don't know where he's going to end up, but there's way too much trade rumors regarding Lauri Markkanen. I mean, would Atlanta pivot and acquire him? And they don't have to give up Ricochet. I mean, they could give up some of the picks they got in the Murray deal plus others so they could remain competitive with Trae Young. I mean, I could see that being a possibility. And that's maybe where Capella goes. I mean, although they do have Walker Kessler. I mean, could it be a Knicks swap with Randall and maybe a pick swap or something? But yeah, I have no idea where Markkanen can end up. That could be like a backup option for Golden State. That could be Philly if they miss out on George and some other free agents. But they don't have a lot of assets to give up other than a treasure chest of picks. Oh yeah, they traded those for James Harden. Who's not on that team anymore. But yeah, I mean, the best bet for Markkanen's trade spot is probably Atlanta. Like, that's the fit that I could see it working out. And you can have him and Trae Young, and Okongwu, and Ricochet, and you give up a ton of picks, and Hunter, and then you could give up the picks you got. You give up that Lakers pick, which I think is going to be really, really good. AJ Griffin, I know, is not on the team anymore. You give up Jalen Johnson for him. And maybe even Bogdan Bogdanovic. But yeah, I could see like Lauri Markkanen on Atlanta. And I think that would be a really, really good fit. I think Philly would be a good fit, but they don't have the assets to get him. But yeah, I have no idea who would acquire Markkanen. I mean, could it be San Antonio to put him with Wemby? I feel like that's the move for San Antonio. But I think they're going to wait a year to make their big move. So my prediction for Utah is, despite trade rumors, Lauri Markkanen will be in a Jazz uniform come the start of the season. It's like Donovan Mitchell. I think Donovan Mitchell stays with Cleveland. And then Washington. I just really don't see them doing a lot. I'm going to say they trade Brogdon. And I don't know who gets him. I mean, that could be Philly if they lose Lowry. I could see it being a lot of teams. I'm going to say they flip Brogdon again. I just don't know who will acquire him. I mean, I could see that being Orlando, ironically enough. Because, I mean, do they believe in Jalen Suggs? I don't know. And I have Buddy Hield going there, but he's a 2 guard. And Brogdon's a point guard. Yeah, I could see that being Orlando. And maybe they get Wendell Carter, which would be a weird fit with Sarr. But I'm going to say that for maybe like a first and a second, or I could see like Mo Wagner being in the deal. I mean, I don't know if Orlando wants to break up the Wagners. So, I'm going to say Malcolm Brogdon to Orlando for Chuma Okeke and a future pick. All right, so there you have it for the NBA draft recap and free agency preview and predictions. So, next up will be the NHL.